So, a bit of a different vibe video for today. I requested a review key for this little game called Please Be Happy on a site called Keymailer, and I'm really appreciative of the opportunity to try this game out. Especially since visual novels like these aren't particularly Western games, and this is definitely a Western channel. Regardless, I really wanted to try Please Be Happy for a few reasons. Firstly, I have quite a few friends who are into visual novels, which is the overlaying genre of games like these. And I'm curious about why my friends enjoy these type of games, and the best way to figure that out is by just trying them out yourself. Secondly, I pride myself on being the type of gamer that tries everything. So, visual novels being a completely new genre to me is something that I would love to try out because I love trying out new things. And so, having this key to just try the game out for myself is great. I'm very happy I've been given the opportunity to do so. So, the rest of the video will be complemented by the first half hour of the game. Um, reason being that I do want to show you something about the game, but it being a visual novel, just about everything is spoiler. So it's just going to be the first 30 minutes of gameplay. Probably not even that because I don't think the review is going to be that long. But yeah, it's going to be the first part of the game, so I might cut out a few bits, but it's all within the first 30 minutes. Reason being that I do want this review to have you try this game out for yourself. And if I'm just going to talk about all the spoilers and all the story plots, then you don't really have a reason to play it anymore. With the first 30 minutes being shown, you're not going to see anything that's, you know, truly mind-blowing, revelational stuff. It's all stuff you would see in your very first play session. So the spoilers are very, very minimum in what you're about to see, which is why I'm just going to show the first 30 minutes. Now, for the actual review. Let's address the elephant in the room first. These are romantic stories, and it's pretty much like listening and reading a novel. That on its own makes it quite a big niche that is absolutely not for everyone. It's a novel meets comic with some voice acting. That's how you would describe these type of games in general. The only thing that really carries games like these is the story. Because art style, music, and voice acting, while important, mean very little if the story itself is bad. Now, going over this, I'm gonna go over the story and all the extra elements. I'm also gonna tell you what I think games like this have in terms of a place when it comes to my personal gaming life, and maybe it can have a place in your gaming life as well. In the case of Please Be Happy, I think the story is quite engaging. By the end of chapter 1, you already have a few plot twists that make you think, oh, this actually makes sense, while also leaving you with more questions that you just want to figure out as the game progresses. After a few sessions, I am legitimately curious to find out how these relationships are going to develop, and especially with the two main interests, who are quite different from each other, but also quite similar to each other. Both also complement the main character Miho quite well, while also being different from her, which I think is just a very nice blend of characters that just mesh so well but are different enough to not feel boring. To be honest, I struggle to say much else about the game because just about everything I might say would be a spoiler. Um, I can say that there are four endings, two for each of the main interests, and the main character also has a lot to learn about the world. And the way she learns it is in a very awkward but also cute and cozy way, and it just makes the story extremely sweet. Which is apparently a rarity in this genre, where normally trauma matters. But the developer proudly markets this game as a game with just four happy endings. And considering the characters involved, I do actually want to see them happy. It's almost like the title of the game alludes to that. Now, the story takes you on a journey that is just really sweet and relaxed, which also, ironically, is really what I needed right now. My last few games have been Souls-like games, beat 'em ups, heavy RPGs, and winding down with a nice story is pretty comforting for a change. Um, Honestly, I can see myself playing more visual novels after Please Be Happy for this exact purpose. To just wind down between all the violence and action. So yeah, the story is really good and kind, and that's important. But there's more to visual novels than just that. Like I said, the story is the single most important factor in a visual novel, but art style, voice acting, and music do, of course, matter. So let's dive into each of those next. The art style, you can already see on screen right now. Um, Personally, I find it really charming. I don't really have much else to say about that. You can see it on the screen right now. You can see the love that is put in all the drawings, and I really can't find any fault in the art style. It's just charming. It really fits the narrative of being quite sweet. It has a very charming color palette. Nothing wrong about the art style. In my opinion, honestly, a 10 out of 10 for art style. The voice acting is a little bit hit and miss for me. But as I get further into the story, as I progress from chapter to chapter, it does get better. It's almost like at the start of the game, the voice actors needed to get more into the role, which is somewhat understandable. I just kind of wish, and I'm not sure if this has happened, but I kind of wish they would have done chapter 1 again. Just to, you know, do it with the feeling that really portrays the characters. Because halfway through chapter 2 is when things really start to take off when it comes to the voice acting, and it becomes infinitely better than it was during chapter 1. Now, I do also want to say that with a lot of visual novels and other games with a lot of voice lines, you'll see that the voice lines are only partially voiced. Just the first few words of a sentence are voiced, and they didn't cheap out on this. Every conversation is fully voiced, and I really appreciate that amount of effort because it's also not cheap and it is a budgeted game. So the fact that they wanted to bring in all the voice acting for every conversation, I can really appreciate that. With that being said, I think there are a few points where I think it would have benefited from just doing a few retakes to truly bring it from good voice acting to actually quite great voice acting. So yeah, I can appreciate the game not cheaping out on the voice acting itself. It does a fairly good job at it. I said the art style is a 10 out of 10. I'd say the voice acting is a 7.5 out of 10. Very respectable, could have been better. So the art style is really good and the voice acting is pretty good. The music, I think, complements the game really well when it plays. When being the key part, because some parts are completely silent and I think it lacks a little bit of ambiance in those moments. I've caught myself checking to see if my headset died, but it's just the game being dead silent. It is truly my one true criticism of the game. I would have loved to have more ambient sounds throughout the game, which, is kind of the best criticism you can get. I wanted more. Um, so yeah, the music could have used a little bit of extra work, especially with more ambient noises that can just loop during the silent parts. All in all, if you're looking for a cozy break from all the violence and action, give visual novels a go. I know I'll be playing more of them after Please Be Happy, after probably doing something a little bit more sword heavy first, but I'm glad to have had my first taste of these type of games. And it's good to have a game that is still going to be engaging in a different way, and this time with a more story and narrative purpose. I haven't completed Please Be Happy just yet, but I've got some good progress in, and I'm super curious to find out how these stories will continue, how these characters are going to develop, and how it is eventually going to end. Please Be Happy is out on Steam, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4 and 5, and Xbox One and Series X, so regardless of where you play, you can try out Please Be Happy today. And I'll make sure to drop a link to every single storefront in the description down below so you can check it out for yourself. I want to once again thank developer Sometimes You, Studio Alan, and Keymailer for the opportunity to try this out. More reviews are coming to the channel, so be sure to subscribe to not miss out on any of those. And while you're down there, be sure to like. And of course, thank you for watching this. It is greatly appreciated. Until next time.